Hey there, this is Katherine Cartwright. Welcome. I am sharing a 3D pumpkin box from Diamond Press. This just arrived at my house, and they had a bunch of stuff that they released for a fall release over at the website, and I had to immediately open this up. There are beautiful instruction sheets, and I'm pointing out the little candy corn die. I always have the controversial question of if you like candy corn or not, but we can address that in a later video. I ask that every year, at least once or twice during the fall season when I make cards and related to candy corn. So anyway, here's the stamp set. Very, very cute pumpkins and leaves and a little kitty cat, a little rest in peace headstone, a ghost. I mean, just so many things, not just for the pumpkin, okay, that you can use for Halloween as well. So super, super cute. There's also this really cute spider web. There's a spider die, and then they have a tag included. I did not use it in this video. I am sure I'm going to be making another video because just a video to use all of these dies would be so much fun to do because there's so many things that I can cut out of here. I was just amazed at what all you get in this set. Okay, so I am die cutting these. There is a top and a bottom, and for some reason I did not pull the instructions into the video like I normally do. I just kind of had them to the side, and I'm not really sure why I did that, but hopefully I'll be able to explain this well enough. And if you got this kit, it has the instructions included. So you need 2 pieces for the top and 2 pieces for the bottom. On the top, the little odd shape, I don't know how many, if that's octagon or not, but at the top, there's only one need for that circular piece and then one for the bottom. So I cut 2 by accident. And but you only need 2 pieces for the top and the little circle piece, and then 2 pieces for the bottom and the circle piece. But again, all in the instruction sheets. So now I am just folding down all of these tabs. There are all these little worker tabs that you're going to use to create this box. And you can already kind of see a little bit of a shape coming together. And then you want to fold down the tabs on this little circle piece. It's not really a circle, but it sort of is. I don't know what to technically call it because I can't tell how many sides there are. Math is not my strong suit. I've said many, 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 many times. Okay, so I've got my 2 pieces. There are these 2 tabs on the end of each of these pieces, and you're going to kind of line them up. You have to kind of work with it a little bit. I found that in working with it, I'm going to have to add some more glue here, and because I'm just making a hot mess over here. And you're going to want to kind of fold it down. So when you fold those tabs at the top where the score is, I found that it really came together nicely. You could see you kind of have to find the spot for it, and then it lines up perfectly. But you have to kind of work with it for a second. And of course, this is the very first time I'm using it, and so it's going to look a little messy here. And I'm just trying to get it. And then I realized when I pushed it down, the top piece, that I found the sweet spot, so to speak, where it went together really, really well. Okay. And then you're going to repeat the same process on the other side. Okay. But you don't want to glue it together. That's what you're going to end up doing eventually. So you've got these 2 pieces together. You're going to find the section that you just glued together, and you're just going to add a tab to it. This part is really, really easy. It takes a second. And I do a lot of over gluing on this because I'm very generous with my glue. And I'm not speeding this up very, very fast because I wanted you to be able to see. You can look right here and see how that kind of comes together. That is where we're going. So all of these tabs are going to go underneath the top part, and they fit in there beautifully. You just kind of find the spot. You'll take your time because you want this glue to dry. You could use some red line adhesive, some super sticky tape if you wanted to. I just find, I've said this, a million times when I make these kind of things, that the liquid glue really holds together great because you're wetting those fibers. And I will talk about the paper for a second while I'm going around adding these tabs in here. So you can see we've got a nice kind of coming together of our, this will be the top. Okay, so this paper is from Michaels. It was a 12 by 12. I think Craftsmith is the brand name. And the weight is probably about 80 pounds. It is not my heaviest cardstock, but I did that intentionally. I wanted to see how a little lighter weight paper would perform, and I think it actually worked really, really well. Sometimes when I use 100 pound cardstock for things like this, it is so heavy, which is a good thing, but it is sometimes can be kind of hard to work with when you're having to fold and crease and things like that. So a lot of times for projects such as this, I use a little bit lighter weight cardstock, and I was very happy with how it turned out. Again, I'm kind of pressing these tabs together. So you want to go around and you'll put all these little tabs behind the front. Okay, so you see that little flap there. There's that, and I'm going to tuck it behind, and then it just starts coming together, the bottom part of my box. I'm talking too much. Sorry, hopefully you can still follow. And then I'm just tucking that in there, and you can see how it's coming together. And then you'll finish with the last little tab. One little tip on this, there are these, the little smaller tabs, and then there's kind of the final one. I should have waited, I think, to do the final one, like this one right here. You can see I've already got added glue to it. There's the top and bottom tab on that one. Wait until the end to do that. I got a little ahead of myself, and I should have waited on this one. You can see there's that last little bit to go in together. Okay, but there's really no wrong way to do this unless you put the wrong circle in the top, and then it will not fit properly. But you'll know that pretty quickly that you have done it incorrectly, because it's a little bit smaller. And I should have measured that for you. That would have been a good idea. But you can tell when you look at the paper, the instructions as well as the die cut, it's a tiny bit smaller. Okay, and it would not work if you have the wrong pieces together. Okay, so look how cute this is. I am already in love. So again, you just need one of those, the circle for the bottom. Okay, for the box. And now I wanted to work on the stem here. Before you can add the stem to the top, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I've just got some brown cardstock. This is a pretty heavy weight, so you can see I'm kind of squishing it in my hand a little bit just to give it a little loosening up of those fibers. So you're going to add glue to the top of the three. There are three little tabs. There's a little tab that goes on the main part of it. And so I think the directions may have said to put the three tabs in there first, but I went ahead and glued this part together. And so I'm just getting that squared away, and then I'm going to tuck these three tabs. I'll let that dry for a second. That's the only negative about doing liquid glue on camera, is I don't want to take too much of your time, but I have to let things dry. So sometimes I have to kind of come in and come out and come back and check on it, but it shouldn't take too long. So I'm just going to use a little bit of my bone folder here, hoping to get down into that little bit and putting a little bit of pressure on there. And then the box, or I guess I should say the stem, is closed. It has an opening on the bottom, so that's not incorrect when you see that little kind of gap in there. And then you're going to want to add some glue to the tabs here, and I'm going to have to add a little bit more pressure. I don't want to tear my top, so I'm trying to be careful holding the bottom and pressing it in there. So you'll need to make sure that you give it a second to dry. Okay, so we're going to repeat the same process. It's a very similar concept here, just that it's a little bit larger. You can see that the main part of it is much bigger, and you will be surprised. I was really surprised how big the little pumpkin is. It's so cute. And so I'm just folding all of my seams here, all the crease lines. And then, and be sure and do both of them. I don't think I did both of them at the same time, and I should have. I think I missed maybe one or two, and it just works easier if you have all of your crease lines done. You can see I'm kind of struggling there because I forgot to crease one part of it. Okay, so again, it's going to take me a second here to kind of line this up. It's kind of a two-part process. You've got to kind of find that sweet spot again, where it lines up well, and that's another thing I like about using liquid glue on something like this, especially with a little bit of an angle. You have to work just a tiny bit more to get that to come together, and it gives you a little bit more give. And you can see I'm going through a good bit of glue on this one. I got to just find that spot, and once you get it, it goes together like a dream. I don't know if you got the if you picked up the lantern that came out a while ago, maybe a couple months ago now, from Diamond Press, that was so fun. That I'm loving these 3D projects that they have been putting out. They're just so much fun. And there it is. So you can see you just have to find that little spot, and then it comes together. All right. So I'm just holding one end, and there we go. All right. So now we are in business, and I've got those two pieces squared away. And then I can start adding that center piece. I want to make sure that this is glued down really well. I'm just working this over, and I'm going to let that dry. And then I can move on to the next section. Okay? Because you want to leave that open. I made a mistake on an earlier one, the bottom. I think I was working on the box, and I closed this up. You really don't want to close this up. You want to make sure that you put this circular piece on first before you begin to close it, because I made that mistake, and I realized what I had done wrong, and that I couldn't really, you could finish it, but it's just a whole lot more challenging if you have it closed up. Okay, so you really do want to follow the instructions on that to glue these two pieces together, then do your, I'm going to call it an insert. I've decided a word I'm going to use. The insert for the top, and then you will insert that into using these tabs. And then at the end, you'll want to close up your little box. But once you make this one time, it is going to be so easy. The first time is easy. It's just, following instructions, and maybe a little tip here and there of things to look out for, like follow the instructions so you don't close it up before you should. And you can see, again, I'm just going around. I've got a lot of glue on here. I'm very generous with the glue. And then I'm going to do a little decorating on here. But it is so cute. And I was thinking about some different ideas that you could do with this. Also, Diamond Press made an acorn box, which is on my wish list. And I was thinking that would be, if you had that and the pumpkin, you could do a pumpkin and an acorn for your Thanksgiving place setting. And you could decorate them with somebody's name, and you'll see how large, at least, I don't know how large the acorn is, but the pumpkin's quite large. You could put some treats in there. You could write a little note of thanks, I think would be cute, and kind of roll it up in there. Maybe tie it with a little ribbon for someone. Use your alphabet to customize it, and put their initials or their full name, depending on how long it is, if it fits. And so then you could have those for your place settings. And I think I'm going to do at least the pumpkin for Thanksgiving this year. And you could use different colors. You could make it more of kind of a Thanksgiving looking pumpkin if you wanted to, and add some elements like that. So you can see this is coming together. I've got almost all of the tabs done, and then I'm going to come back here and tuck this other tab in. I had one of the tabs I just saw that in the video, that it looked like the tab was sticking out, but all the tabs go inside, so I didn't want to confuse anybody on that. All right, so now I am ready to tuck all these tabs in, and they will go in together just so. Very, very easy, again, over gluing. And thankfully you can't see it too badly. Sometimes you can if you just have so much glue that it's ridiculous, that it will show a lot, but this dries pretty clear, thankfully. And again, I have a problem over gluing. I definitely don't want it to come apart. I want it to hopefully last years. And there are those two tabs at the end, so I'm going to wait for those. They're these little single tabs. And then when I get to that two tab section, that I will finish up last. But look how cute this is. And I was thinking too, like it would be fun to glitter the stem, add some glitter to the stem, or some kind of shine on it. I always love to add a little shine like that, to use some glitter glue. But look at how cute that is. And so I'm letting these dry, trying to take my time, and but not take too much of your time. So super, super cute. All right, and then we're almost there. I think we're on the last section. So you're going to put, there are two tabs, like I mentioned a couple times, on that last little bit where you're going to put them together. And I'm just going to tuck that in. And then I have that bottom tab to be sure and get to. Okay, so you just leave those two open, so that allows you to go around and really finish it up. And then I probably will use a little bit of a bone folder here to get a good press, since it's at the very bottom. I love a bone folder because it's an extension of my hand and gives me some extra length to make sure that I get everything adhered where I want it to. So I'm going to tip this on its side gently because I don't want to smush it too much with too much pressure. Just going to gently press that tab in to finish off this container. How cute! I think you could make this into like a little vase too. If you left the top off, maybe you could fill it with some floral foam. Ooh, put a piece of floral foam, dry floral foam in the bottom, and then make die cut a bunch of flowers and put them on a little florist wire or something like that, and you could make a little pot of flowers. How cute in this pumpkin. So this is about 2 3/4 that bottom, and you can see I've got a Diamond Press gift card, which is a standard size. It's actually not a gift card; it's like a little scraper, but it's the size of a gift card, and you can see that it fits in there beautifully. So here is this pumpkin. Look how cute! Oh my goodness, very, very cute. And then I'm going to add a little bit more to the top. But isn't that fun? I have, like I said, a million ideas for this. My daughter is going to be in classroom teaching, and I could see making little pumpkins for her students. Oh, just so many ideas. So top to bottom, about 4.5 to 4 3/4, if you include the stem. Okay, so a really nice size. All right, so I wanted to finish this off. I'm definitely going to have to come back and do another video because I have so many other ideas. I'm using just some green cardstock here, and I cut, there's a leaf, one of the leaves in there, and then there's this little skinny strip here that you're going to use to curl for your pumpkin box. So I've just got my bone folder, my trusty bone folder here, and I'm just kind of breaking up this fiber, and then you can kind of twist it, you can see, into this cute little curl for kind of the top of the pumpkins. I've been seeing pumpkins everywhere now. I just bought my first pumpkin of the season. I usually get 2 or 3 to put out on my front porch because they just make me smile. Got a huge one. It was quite heavy, and I'm hoping that the deer or squirrel do not come over and get with it. Sometimes they definitely get after it, and so I'm very excited. So I'm just trying to figure out where I want to put my little kind of curly cue here, and then I definitely want to add my leaf on there. And so I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to the base of this. I probably could have tucked it under the stem, but since this is my first time working with it, I didn't think about that. There is a little space, I remember, because you only glue down 2 of the tabs, so you probably could slip something under there. And so I'm just trying to decide where exactly I want to put this. And so then I'm just going to add this to the bottom of my stem here and wipe some of that glue off. And then I can kind of, twist this around how I want it to go. And then I am ready to add my leaf. And so I just added some ink. This is Parsley from Diamond Press, one of I think it's the green, probably collection. And so I'm just going to add this one to the top. And then I'm going to have to go back and make a second leaf, I decided. And then I also added one more thing because I couldn't stop. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue here and add this to the top of my stem. But I knew I wanted to put a third one, and so I'll just add one more leaf on there. But then there's this really cute little die. It's very small. It's kind of the little curlicue sort of die too, but I'm going to put it on top of my box. But I'm not going to show that on camera because I did that very last minute. I just wanted to add a little bit more. So I'm just making one more leaf here with that parsley ink. Just trying to tone down a little bit of this green. It's a very bright green, a little probably brighter than I wanted. So I just decided to add a little bit of ink there to tone that down just a little bit and give it a little bit of detail. It's got that, you can see the little veining in there that shows up when you add a little bit of ink on there. Just really, really cute. And so I'm just trying to decide where I think the extra leaf should go. And when I make my decision, I'm just going to add a little bit more adhesive here. So cute. And I'm just going to kind of tuck that under there. And I think that's really cute as is. But I did, like I say, stumble upon this little die that was included in this set. So cute. Love it. I have so many ideas with these little leaves too. They're beautiful. We just came back from a trip to Canada, and the leaves are starting to turn a little bit up there, so I'm very inspired. And here's that little curly Q. I am definitely ready for fall. It's about 95 degrees where we are, and so fall is not anywhere close, but I'm always hopeful. And look, I could just do this all day. Take the top on and off. So cute. Fill it with treats. Take it to a neighbor. It's got the tag included. You could stamp a fall wish, or you could pull it from another set, get well. If you've got someone who's not feeling well this time of year, you could drop by a little pumpkin full of cheer. Just adorable. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you've gotten any pumpkins yet. I want to know. Happy fall, and I hope you're doing well. Have a good one.